Hello, my accomplices. John Stossel. Oh crap, wait, I have to snap. This is going to be a response to a John Stossel video in real time. I have no prepared script. I'm just going to be watching the video and then jumping in because I'm like that.
Aren't women in general better nurturers?
No. Next question.
When Google engineer James Damore merely suggested that gender differences might explain why we don't have 50% representation of women in tech, he was fired.
I don't know if any of y'all watch Patricia Taxon, religiously like I do. She made a video about rags in which she challenged the gamer gene argument, which is essentially this idea that some problems have unsolvable causes. Like, maybe there are gender disparities because there are mere biological differences that we can't solve. This is itself not an argument. Merely seeing a disparity does not prove that there is an unsolvable cause.
It's not natural that in school more boys want to play football and more girls wanted to do ballet?
Introducing oddly specific things opens you up to pretty clear and wide criticism. Ballet was invented in Italy and then refined in France as a sort of court dance, like a high social etiquette that everyone participated in. Ballet as we use it today, this feat of flexibility and endurance, does tend to prefer flexible, endurant bodies. What I'm attempting to say is that Michael Phelps could be a ballet dancer, and no, I will not be accepting criticism.
Well,
I want to run and bang into people, and I'm bored by ballet.
I think actually girls might want to run and bang into people, but because there's an image that girls don't do that, they're stopped from doing that.
But in my reporting, I've covered research that shows big differences. For example, tests show most men have better spatial awareness.
Yes, of course, we're talking about fully grown adult men. Is it because they are born with it? Or is it because they've been socialized?
Of course, they might have been molded by our sexist society. Except the tests on infants also find differences. Baby boys look longer at objects like tractor parts. Infant girls stare at faces.
And here I am, going to the description of his video, trying to check out where his sources are. Let's see. Text. Third, two-thirds didn't. Culture. Go to war, take care of the kids, even a monkey, stutter, voice, saying them. And there is no source. We love to see it.
So let's do it again with a bigger set of newborns, a better controlled set of stimuli.
The media.
And that idea of reproducing the experiment is immediately skipped over. I thought science was about reproducing results. What is John Stossel so afraid of?
Our brains are not basically the same. You can tell, looking at brains, whether or not they belong to a male or a female 80% of the time.
And this is the thing about the social sciences, is that 80% of the time, not being 100% of the time, is good enough for some reason. Which is fine because I'm not a neurologist or a psychologist by any means. I'm not going to try and speak over Dr. Fleischman, so I'm just going to leave her parts unedited.
Evolutionary psychologist Diana Fleischman.
Cultures around the world show very similar differences between men and women. Men are more likely to seek status. Women are more likely to take care of children. Women are more likely to stay in the home. Men are more likely to do dangerous, aggressive things like go to war.
Because we men have been socialized. Work's important, and you women have been told by your mothers, say, take care of the kids.
Why would you see that across every culture in the world?
Maybe because cultures have always encouraged men to behave this way. We are the same until society influences us.
And if you look at non-human animals, if you look at monkeys, they don't have culture, and yet there's still these very large differences between males and females.
If animals don't have culture, then where did it come from?
That's majority opinion. Neuroscience cited 70 studies that found differences. Boys are more likely to be autistic, colorblind, and have speech problems.
I just kind of want to touch on the autism point real quick as a person that interacts with the community so much. Asperger's. When I say that nothing in society is neutral or free from socialization, I mean it. Studies on autism happen on autistic boys. Boys that are already a part of society. And it's still fascinating to see people make the argument more boys are autistic than girls, because no, it's literally just that boys and girls interact with autism or their symptoms differently because they're treated differently.
I stutter. Most stutterers are boys. It's not a brain difference.
There are those kinds of brain differences, and I'm definitely not a brain difference denier.
That's kind of how you've been presented by much of the media.
Including you. John Stossel is a part of the mainstream media. So yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Perhaps I haven't read the book.
I bet the headline writers didn't. On the other hand,
Gina Rippon seems to be a sex difference denier depending on kind of what audience that she's talking to.
They're thinking there's a difference between men and women. People like me stand up and say, actually, no, there's not.
Is an incredibly alluring message. It's really sad that it's not right.
Hold the fuck up. Let me open a window. Let me gas this out. The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting.
Is this a really good message that we should be sending out to everybody, that there are profound or fundamental differences?
it shouldn't matter whether it's a good message. It should just be science, what the truth is.
But science is not as neat as people like to think.
That hasn't stopped.
No, hold on. Let her finish. Excuse me. Correlations are not causations. Trends in data aren't immutable nor unfixable. Merely measuring something in reality as reality is not saying that it is good or bad. You are not the Lord, you do not saith.
BBC announced that it wants an equal number of men and women.
We reaffirmed our commitment to advance gender equality.
Because politicians say men and women are the same. If women are paid less, it must be sexism.
Money literally only exists in a society. Economies are not an ecological class. You'd have to literally be arguing that women just want less. You'd have to actually argue that women are biologically inclined to just want less. I don't... I'm stumped.
Unfortunately, a lot of scientists, people like Gina Rippon, have made it seem like, yes, there should be gender parity, but you do see that men and women have different interests.
By arguing this, you perpetuate stereotypes, sexism.
Saying that men and women have different aptitudes isn't sexism. It's actually a statement about the true nature of the world.
You want to know something that I just realized about the whole biological argument in and of itself? Say you had a schizophrenic person that is genetically predisposed to be schizophrenic. They have a family history of schizophrenia, and then they just wake up one morning and start seeing visions. If you were to apply this logic to them, they wouldn't be able to get help. Even if there is a genetically provable disparity, which so far 2 out of the 3 sources in this video don't even prove anything and just show general correlation. But even if there is a genetic disparity, we don't deny schizophrenics with a genetic history. We don't deny cancer patients with a family history. There's literally no logical reason to have women suffer just because they're, I don't know, genetically more submissive? Like what? And that is the note that I'm going to end this video on. You cannot prove that things in nature are inherently good, because there is a lot in nature that is really shitty. So with that being said, see you tomorrow. Today's video is brought to you by absolutely nobody, because nobody left a comment in my last video, which means no username to harmonize. If you want your username harmonized at the end of a video, please leave a comment. Otherwise, I'm just gonna look dry as hell at the end of these videos.